Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Sugarwish Webinar, Finding Joy and Spreading Cheer, One Yay at a Time. My name's Melissa Mills-McCluda, and I am the Vice President of People and Culture here at Sugarwish. And I am so excited today to moderate a conversation between Meaghan B Murphy, who is the editor, lifestyle expert, podcaster, high-energy rockstar mom, and author of Your Fully Charged Life, and Elisabeth Vezzani, who is entrepreneur, revolutionary gift giver, owner of 2 huge dogs, also a high-energy rock star mom, and the president and co-founder of Sugarwish. So as we wait for Elisabeth to hop on with us, Meaghan, I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your journey, and about what brought you here to us at Sugarwish today.
Yay! Well, I love candy and I love Sugarwish. But I am a longtime magazine editor. I am an author. I am a podcaster. I'm a television personality. But most importantly, I am a mom of 3. I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and of course, a fur baby who just turned 7.
Love the fur babies. Elisabeth, tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got here to this moment here with Meaghan on our podcast.
Hi, I'm Elisabeth Vezzani, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sugarwish. And my co-founder, Leslie, and I started this as a gifting company and quickly realized the whole point of sending a gift is to make someone happy and give them a joyful experience. So what we started as a gifting company, we realized we were in a happiness business. And one of the very first big placements we ever got was from Meaghan, and having Sugarwish featured. Throughout the years, we've had many different gifts as we launched it. We started as candy. We tried different things, and I think it was like one of our big breaks, and that Meaghan was able to see that we were a company that delivered happiness and focus on that. So we've been thankful and followed Meaghan's journey throughout the years, and her Yay list. Just everything Meaghan has done has been things that we gravitate towards. 2 of our values at Sugarwish, company-wide values, are kindness matters and making Sugarwish a delightful place to be. And part of that are just things that Meaghan talks about in her book about just making it intentionally, making it delightful versus just hoping it happens. And so I'm just so excited that Meaghan's here and that we have a chance to talk to her. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Elisabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Meaghan, you talk a lot and write a lot about gratitude. Can you talk to us about the power of gratitude, and especially gratitude this time of year at the holidays?
Sure. So I learned a lot about the power of having an attitude of gratitude at a time in my life where my father was very, very ill. I lost my father to pancreatic cancer. And while he was in his struggle with the disease, I had 3 small children, and I was really, really having a difficult time functioning. I was having a hard time getting out of bed, doing all the things, and I had 3 small kids that counted on me. So I knew I had to pick myself up out of this hole. And the way I did it, because I understand the science of gratitude, right? I mean, I wrote a book about, hacking your own happiness. And I knew from the work of positive psychology and Dr. Martin Seligman that having an attitude of gratitude is absolutely mood magic. But I had to figure out how to practice gratitude without it feeling like homework, or that if I didn't write in a journal, I couldn't do it. And so when my dad was very ill, I began my own gratitude practice, which was really this fun filtered version that seemed more accessible to me than doing something like writing in a journal. And like, frankly, if you can write in a journal to practice gratitude, yay. I just couldn't do it. It just was like, oh, great, one more thing to do. Now I have to write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Woo. But the practice I started was something called finding the yay. And essentially what I was doing was pausing to appreciate something every day that wasn't as hard as what I was dealing with my father. So I would get up and say, okay, and the beginning was like this, what doesn't suck today? Because today is really hard. Let me find something that doesn't suck, and I'm going to notice it, and I'm going to appreciate it. And what's going to happen when that happens? And so like those first couple of weeks would be like, whoa, the foam in my latte is heart-shaped. Well, that doesn't suck. A lot of what's happening today is really, 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 really bad. But wow, that heart-shaped foam in my latte is pretty amazing. What if I take a picture of it? And what if I share it widely? Because one of the neat things about gratitude is that when you share it, it magnifies. So I would take pictures of those things that I was actively appreciating, and I would share them on social media with the hashtag Operation Good Grief. Every day I did this. It would be the tulips finally blooming at the end of my sidewalk, or it would be a really good workout with friends. It would just be something that wasn't hard, that wasn't bad, that wasn't awful, that wasn't pancreatic cancer. And I would notice it. I would really, really take it in. I would appreciate it. And then I would document it and share it. And over the course of doing that for a year, 2 years, and losing my father in the process, I reprogrammed my brain to more automatically see good in the world, to more automatically pause to appreciate it. What I really tricked myself into doing, though, was having a gratitude practice, because that's exactly what finding the yay is. It is practicing gratitude. And when I say to my kids, oh, what made you say yay today over the dinner table or before bed? Somehow that feels more accessible than getting out a pen and paper or getting out a journal and saying, write what you're grateful for.
I love it.
Uh, to that note, I have the 5-minute journal, gratitude journal, and I have every intent to write in this every day. And
Yes.
I rarely do. I got one for my daughter and I'm like, really,
Yes.
but it is more
God,
the little
God
things.
God bless the people
No,
who
I
can
can't
do.
do it either. I tried. I think I was really good for like 10 days.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about gratitude. Gratitude is a superpower, but it doesn't have to be super stressful. And I think
No.
when we understand at its core, all gratitude is an appreciation for the world around you, an appreciation for what's happening, what gets to happen, and just noticing it and
I feel
taking
like
it.
my gratitude journal are pictures. So
Yes,
I like I think my children would say, like, there's not a, like, what was I doing on May 2nd at 3 o'clock in 19, because, and I do think I also went through, just some painful things. And then I just want to capture every good moment. Like, and I know sometimes that takes you out of the moment, but for me, it's like a journal. It's like look at how beautiful they are. Look how beautiful this moment is. Look at how, like you were saying, Megan, this
yes, that's the
marshmallow in
power
my
of.
hot cocoa.
And that's sort of,
Yeah,
so the power of awe and harnessing the power of awe definitely goes kind of hand in hand with gratitude in many, many ways. And I think the more we have that childlike appreciation for the wonders of the world, like, oh my gosh, an ant can carry a leaf on his back. That's insane. Like rain makes rainbows. OMG. Like the more we can notice those things that are actually pretty incredible, the happier we get. The more we pause to appreciate them, the more gratitude we're filled with, the happier we get to ultimately be.
yeah, for sure. And well, I think we talk a little bit about details later, but yeah, so I will,
Yeah,
Melissa, let
I
you
love
go on.
that. And
It's also fantastic.
that's a
Yeah.
great, you kind of gave a great segue into my next question. I'm going to start with you, Elisabeth. Um, Holidays are a time to celebrate. Every day, as we've just talked about, is a reason to celebrate. Um, can you talk a little bit more, Elisabeth, about creating those reasons for celebration and finding joy in the holidays and beyond?
Yeah. And I think I think what makes the holidays, other than being stressful and we all have so much, we all do things at our mini celebrations. We go drive around and look at lights. We make sure we have those marshmallows and everybody's favorite food, and just the little celebrations that we honestly should be doing more throughout the year. We focus a little bit more in the next 4 weeks. All right. So I always, for me, it's such a busy time with Sugarwish, and it's just fun being that busy. But I try to intentionally play the Christmas music right in the morning for no reason at all. Make sure you get those tickets to the zoo lights or whatever the play when you don't feel like you have time. But those are the moments that you kind of stop, breathe, love, feel appreciative of who you're with. Obviously, as a gifting company, we get to see so much goodness and everyone just telling each other how much they love each other and how much they appreciate, whether it's their employees or their friends. It's just a time when everyone does seem to celebrate their relationships and what they're grateful for. So for me, it's just the mini celebrations don't have to be big. They can be just Christmas music. They can be a miniature self to wrap with a glass of wine. They can be picking up the phone and telling someone you love them or sending them a little gift that brightens their day. We have it's called the Santagram. Just obviously it's Sugarwish talk. But what I love about it is it's just like something that delivers on the magic of the season. Like it's just silly. It's from Santa. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but just something that makes you kind of celebrate the moment. Oh, look. And I actually, Leanne, thanks for sharing that, because I just at last minute decided to talk about it. But yeah, I think if you can intentionally, in Meaghan's book, she talks so much about intentionally creating happiness, make it a point every day to celebrate something. I think it makes a huge difference.
I love the slides, guys.
Yeah, look at that. Leanne, you're on it.
So fun. So fun.
And I would just add, so in terms of when I took over Women's Day magazine 4 years ago in the height of the pandemic, I really sought to reinvent the magazine as destination celebration. No holiday left behind from Taco Tuesday to Christmas. Something really important to think about is that it's okay to lean into excuses to celebrate, and maybe those are just silly national holidays that may or may not be sponsored by a P&G brand, right? Because here's the thing, sometimes when times are really tough, we just need that excuse. So if it's National S'mores Day and I get to celebrate the fact that graham crackers and marshmallows and chocolate found each other, yay. Who cares if Hershey's brought it to us, right? We need reasons to punctuate the hardest days with moments of levity and light. So celebrating is my superpower right now, but it started by my dog is banging down the door now.
Perfect.
But it started with giving myself excuses to celebrate Taco Tuesday, right? During the pandemic, we had major rager Taco Tuesdays because it was just a reason. If you can't find a reason, lean into a national day and you will have a reason to celebrate every single day.
We created at home during it Beatles brunch. Super random. We would just play Beatles every Sunday morning during COVID. We played Beatles music and made breakfast and brunch, and the kids would roll their eyes and just be like, I'm like, I'm teaching them Beatles music, which is very important to know. And it's just a made up celebration for no reason, but it stuck and it was fun. So just
oh my gosh, my dog Dempsey, I'm locking him out.
Yeah, please.
Beatles brunch, I love that. We do Taco Tuesday in my house a lot, but I'm gonna add Beatles brunch over the holidays when my kids
Fancy Friday, dress up and eat pizza. Fancy Friday, that's a good one.
Fancy Friday.
All kinds of great ideas. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to touch on something. Meaghan, you talked about finding joy through the loss of your father, through his illness and losing him. Can can you talk more about finding and seeking authentic joy in the face of difficult circumstances?
Sure. I think like when you're faced with really hard stuff, we need to flex our resilience muscles. And I really love the science of resilience and understanding that we all have this toolkit that will help us move onward, like that fun slide, which is always sort of, like we got to look in the direction we're headed, which is always onward, not that way, onward. And I realized that when things are hard for me and I've really, really trained my resilience muscles, it's that we need each other, we need other people. So we need to lean into social support. We needed to lean into our neighbors, our loved ones. We need each other. We need to tell our stories. It's really, really important. In order to find joy, you need to be open and sometimes vulnerable. And maybe you can practice by oversharing to like, the Target cashier, but we need to tell our stories and we need to share our pain because that's how we connect with other people who are one of life's most reliable antidotes to what is hard. We need resilience role models. When we feel stuck, when we feel we're in despair, we need to look for people who have done the hard thing, who have found the joy that we don't see possible. I had a double mastectomy and it was very, very hard, harder than I thought in the recovery process. And I very much looked to my friend who had had the same surgery a year earlier to have receipts, to have proof that I would come out the other side. So when things really, really feel challenging and hard and we can't find our yay, look to someone who's been there and come out the other side. We need those receipts, right? I mean, these are just some of the resilience and the coping strategies that I talk about in my book, but just knowing that when we build a toolkit and when we use different tools at different times, we will always have the resources to be okay.
I love that. Do you have any specific advice for reaching out to others, for being that reliable source of comfort and joy?
Yeah, but I think that's very tricky too, because when some people are in the throes of really hard things, loss, job loss, a health crisis, loss of a relationship, right? Like that is really, really difficult. And I think sometimes we want to retreat. So you don't have to like get your megaphone and tell the entire world your problems, but maybe if you have one confidant, whether that's like a sister, a brother, a mother, an uncle, a neighbor, a fellow PTO mom, whoever that is, but we need to use our voice and we need to voice our pain because that getting it out in some capacity is wildly helpful. It enables us to connect with other people and move onward. I'll never forget when my dad was very, very ill, I started crying on a treadmill at Orange Theory, and the woman next to me is like, "What's going on? Like, are you okay?" And I'm like, "My dad's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer and he's dying." And she's like, "I lost my dad to pancreatic cancer." And she like wound up being my top resilience role model for loss and my grief because I knew someday I wouldn't cry on the treadmill. She wasn't crying on the treadmill. Like she had been through the same horror and she wasn't crying on the treadmill. So I got proof, I got receipts, which sometimes it can be like a social media person, it can be a celebrity, it can be, somebody 6 times removed, but just we need to know that it can be okay.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that Orange Theory was your workout, with orange being kind of your theme
I
color.
know. I know. I know the creator, and I swear I was like, I think you founded this for me. I think I'm also the original member, and I was there this morning.
I too enjoy Orange Theory. I think mine's more like, because it has the treadmill, I get to like run out, sprint
Yeah,
out stress.
I love that.
Yeah. One other thing I really resonated with your book, and just talking about seeking out laughter. I feel like my co-founder and I, having just built Sugarwish from scratch, what really puts us in a better place and helps us through hard times, or just helps us with creativity, everything, is when we can laugh. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, try just how much better laughter makes you feel.
Well, and
even
that's
in simple situations. Yeah.
I'm like obsessed with laughter because I like the science of laughter. Like laughter truly is the best medicine. All the science says, like, we do not lose our appreciation. Our funny bone doesn't go away when things are hard. And when we're able to laugh at something, and it enables us to take control of the horror. I give this example because it like I was like, yeah, nothing's funny about this situation.
Yeah.
But by finding the funny, you're able to take control. So after I had my double mastectomy, I'm being wheeled out of the hospital, and my breast surgeon says to me, okay, you can't raise your arms. Like, so think of yourself as a T-Rex. You're just going to walk around like this for the next couple of days because you have drains on your body. You cannot raise your arms. You're a T-Rex. And I'm like, is he like, he's just, I'm a T-Rex. But I decided to find the humor in that.
Yeah.
And I got a T-Rex sweatshirt. We made T-Rex cookies. And when I did my first steps down the block, we have a little video of me like, I'm a T-Rex. I'm a T-Rex. And I was like, you know what? By claiming, instead of crying about the fact that I had 4 drains hanging from my body and I couldn't raise my arms over my head, and P.S. my kids brought home lice. It was a disaster. I was like,
Of course.
you know what? I'm a T-Rex. This is hysterical. And so finding the laughter in that hard time really was an incredible active coping skill.
For sure.
Absolutely.
We sometimes just think when we're doing, like, as a company, we're doing like social media posts or emails or just thing, and we're cracking out like jokes of what we could write, and sometimes we're like, well, nobody's going to get that, or you'd have to be 75 to get that joke or whatever. And sometimes we're like, we're putting it in there for us.
I love it.
Whether people get it or not, it makes us laugh. And so, hopefully a few people really get it and enjoy it. So, but I definitely like finding ways to insert laughter just can make such a difference.
We often kick off our meetings at Sugarwish with a question just to get people talking, thinking, get the energy flowing. And every now and then we'll say, what's been making you laugh lately? So it's a great way to bring that into work. And speaking of that, what has been making you laugh lately, Meaghan?
My son makes these CapCut videos. Like he makes these crazy like YouTube-esque videos. He doesn't have a phone or anything, but he like makes them on his laptop, and then he sends them to the whole family, and they like they're ridiculous, but they're so funny. They make me hysterical.
So
Great.
I've been messing with it. And have you seen the one? This is so dumb. So I hesitate to people, insight into my stupid sense of humor. But it's like, I don't even know what animal it is, but he's like, wah, wah. It's like, have you seen that one where he's like, your mother isn't answering the phone and why? And then it's like this. And now my whole feed is filled with that animal doing the whack because I've
That's
laughed
so
at it
funny.
and sent it to my children. And I made a Sugarwish one with it because it's just too dumb to post. But the CapCut is fun to mess around in.
Oh my gosh, so it's like my little guy, he's 11, and it's like it's opened up this whole creative world for him, and it just cracks me up.
I love it. I love it. Meaghan, you mentioned the science behind laughter. Tell us more. We don't have time. You could teach us for weeks about the science behind positive psychology. But if you would touch on a few things that would help all of our viewers understand the science behind positivity.
So my book is essentially an approach to fun filtering positive psychology. When I had some, write about it in a book, but I had some tumultuous teen years. I suffered from an eating disorder. I was hospitalized many times. My best friend passed away. So I struggled during my teen years. Was inpatient in the hospital, went through therapy, and kind of like picked myself up a bit. And ultimately, I was working at Cosmopolitan magazine in my 20s, and I was assigned this story called The 7 Secrets of Happiness. So like if you're not familiar with how magazines work, sometimes back in the day, like the editor-in-chief would be like, this is a great cover line, come up with a story. And then you kind of had to reverse engineer, and there wasn't a lot of Google, so you had to call universities and psychology departments and actually talk to PhDs. And so in the process of writing that story, I discovered Dr. Martin Seligman. He is essentially the founding father of positive psychology and the positive psychology movement. And for the first time, he really looked at the field of psychology and said, instead of looking at what's wrong with people and trying to figure out how to fix it, what if we looked at what was right with happy people and tried to emulate those traits? And in the process of that, he came up with his PERMA theory of wellness. The P is for positive emotions, the E is for engagement, the R is for relationships, the A is for meaning, and the M is for meaning, and the A is for accomplishment. And so what I set out to do with my book, ultimately, inspired by that article I wrote in my 20s, was to give people actionable ways to fill those buckets. So if we know having full buckets in all of those categories is going to make us happy, how can we actually put that into practice? What are micro actions that we can take every day? How can we do happy? I always laugh about this. When I was in 8th grade, we did a talent show and we juggled scarves to that song. Don't worry, be happy. You remember that song? And I'm like, to me, happiness was annoying because I didn't feel happy, but I'm not supposed to worry. I'm just supposed to be happy. Like, how does that work? Like, I'm just going to be happy. But when I learned about positive psychology and learned that you could do happy and that happiness was an active state of doing versus a passive state of being, things started to click for me. And in my book, I break down all of those areas. So I'm going to teach you about the health charge and some ways to fill those buckets. And I'm going to talk about gratitude. I'm going to talk about, there's a whole great work charge that helps you, really fully charge your work life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What I do is I lean into the science. There's 45 pages of citations in my book that will help you live fully charged in all of those aspects tied to his PERMA theory of wellness.
Thank you. Thanks.
So interesting.
So we're close to wrapping up. I want to give both of you an opportunity to give us your best advice for living fully charged through the holiday season. What are the things you would have us think about? And I'll start with Elisabeth.
Everything Meaghan talks about and intentionally creating joy, intentionally creating the little things that make you feel. The saying, like, the little things are the big things. Your coffee in the morning, telling someone you appreciate them, a little detail on the card, writing a little note, telling people how you feel. I think really we can't change big things, but we can change little things all throughout the day. And just to give a concrete work example, we have these meetings, we call them L10s. And at the end, you'd always end kind of like, God, we ended on an issue. And everybody's kind of like stressed, whatever the issue was or whatever. And we changed it to, we always end with gratitude for one person. And it just, you always just putting that into place, the little thing, the little process changes every time how we leave those meetings. You either have been thanked or you thank someone, you take a moment, people feel better, people are in a happier place and in a better place to make a difference. So I think at Sugarwish, we do, at the little things are the big things. We make sure in the box there's a little happy, there's a little thing in the process. We know that the little details matter, and they matter in life and how you live your life as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Elisabeth. I love the details.
And I would say two things. The best present is always to be present. And that means phones away, attention focused, right? I think that's this could be our, time isn't promised, tomorrow isn't promised. Like, be with your people, phones down. That is super, super important for me. I have a little bin that's like it's like a little phone collection bin, like all of your devices go here. I confiscate them because I want you to be present. And that is super, super important for me. The other thing is, I think the holiday times, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of this can be very stressful for people. And I think that something important to remember is, you can't necessarily change someone, change the thing, but you do have control over one very important thing, and that is always going to be your reaction. And so if your mother-in-law says something crazy, or the turkey burns, or you don't get the gift you want, like, understand that how you react is within your power.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's such a
Something,
liberating,
mantra we should start our mornings with.
that's such a liberating concept. We control how we react.
That's it. Like,
Love it.
I love people in the chat are adding in.
it's so fun.
So yeah, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why we
I
call it
love
a.
it. Oh, that's great.
So
Great
well,
one.
yeah. Well, we've got some giveaways, and
Yes.
Megan, I know you have to get going. I know you have an appointment, so you can stay for the giveaways, or we're gonna give away some of large holiday treat sugar wish. We're gonna give away 5 large holiday treat sugar wishes and 5 of your book.
Oh, that's so
So,
fun.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
So
we've got 5 winners. We will reach out to you after for your contact information. But again, it's a copy of Your Fully Charged Life, Megan's book, with
fantastic.
great insights into all of the things she's been sharing, and a large sugar wish. So our winners are Michaela Johnson, Julie Wynn, Monique Benjamin, Simona Patterson, and Amanda Assel. So we are so excited. We're glad all of you were here. We appreciate your time, and we wish you an amazing holiday season and beyond.
Yay. And if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram to continue the conversation, I always love that. I'm at Meaghan, Meaghan B Murphy.
And I highly advise it. Seriously, and if anything, it's fun to watch you through your appearances, your daily life, your Halloween decorations. Seriously, it is a reminder to live with joy. So I would advise everybody to follow Megan.
Absolutely. Megan, thank you so much for taking the time
Thank you
to be with
guys
us
for
today.
having me.
We
Yes.
appreciate it.
All right. Have a
Hey.
wonderful rest of the day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.